Deep within a dark, desolate, ash-covered forest, an ancient stone statue of a woman waits in total silence. To the surrounding society, she is a condemned adulteress, yet ancient tradition places her first among the Panchakanya, the 5 revered women whose names alone are said to purify the listener. These centuries of silence provided a psychological sanctuary, a cocoon for a profound transformation. To understand how a woman cast out by her world became a symbol of ultimate purity, we have to look back at the fatal flaw designed into her very creation. The god Brahma forged Ahalya without a human mother. He designed her from the most flawless elements of the universe to be the absolute apex of physical beauty. But this ultimate symbol of youth and vitality was immediately handed over to Gautama, an elderly and emotionless ascetic. Gautama dedicated his life to severe meditation, while Ahalya was left to manage her own unfulfilled desires and a growing, restless curiosity. She lived in a remote forest ashram, totally isolated from the world. Instead of a partner, she was treated as a silent caretaker. By treating her strictly as a beautiful object, the gods and her husband created an emotional void that made her impending downfall almost inevitable. That break came when Indra, the king of the gods, arrived at the ashram disguised perfectly as Gautama to exploit the sage's absence. Later texts often frame her as a victim, but the earliest records suggest she saw through the disguise and accepted him anyway, driven by a starved, desperate curiosity. When Gautama returned, he used his mystical vision to discover the betrayal and unleashed a curse that shattered their lives. Ahalya was condemned to become invisible, subsisting only on air and sleeping in ashes as her body began to harden into stone. The punishment erased her identity, severing her connection to the social hierarchies that once governed her life. Yet, being cast out had an unintended side effect. These centuries of forced silence acted as an isolation chamber, shielding her from the constant judgment of others. Without the noise of a husband's expectations, Ahalya was forced into a deep internal dialogue. She confronted her own choices and her own guilt on her own terms. In that stillness, she began to separate her true self from the labels the world had forced upon her. She realized that while the world could stone her body, it had no power over the clarity of her mind. She found a core identity that remained untouched by the world's shame. By the time her rescue finally approached, Ahalya was no longer a victim waiting for a savior. She was an awakened consciousness, ready to reclaim her space in the universe. Eventually, Prince Rama and the sage Vishvamitra arrived at the desolate ashram. As they approached, Vishvamitra refused to call her a sinner. Instead, he used the term Mahabhaga, meaning most illustrious and highly distinguished. Rama stepped into the heavy ashes. As his foot touched the rock, the physical bonds of her stone prison shattered completely. Rather than a shameful adulteress begging for mercy, Ahalya emerged radiant and fully aware of her truth, prompting Rama, an incarnate god, to bow respectfully. Her transformation is still visible today at the Ahalya Astan temple, where she is venerated not as an outcast, but as a deity. Ahalya's redemption was forged in the fire of her own reflection. She mastered her own story long before the world decided to forgive her.